Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you in your different time zones around the world and across the country. Here we are once again, another Thursday. It's 8 p.m. on the East Coast, 5 p.m. on the West Coast. It's Friday morning in London town at 1 a.m. and it's Friday morning in Tokyo at 10 a.m. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Talk Back Live. My name is Frank Allan, and I am going to be with you. That's my mission. Up until the top of the hour, the next top of the hour, that is. And we're going to be here for a whole full hour. And we have a lot of things to talk about. And we get you involved in the program. And just in case you're a first-time watcher or viewer or listener, this is what we do. When we come on the air at this time, we get you involved. I throw out the conversation. I get the show rolling. And you can get involved in conversation too. All you have to do is use your fingers. Let your fingers do the walking on the keyboards. Type in whatever you have to say, and I will see you right there on the big screen. And I will be able to answer all of your thoughts and ideas, your questions, and you can just join in general conversation. And if you have anything special that you want to talk about, we can inject that and include it into our program as well. As usual, we come here and in conjunction with interacting with you, we've got our regular program that we inject, and we have sports coming up not too far away, just a few minutes from now with Brian Camp. We're going to link up with him from Charlotte, North Carolina. So you'll get a chance to see him. He has the latest developments in today's world of sports, and all of that is coming your way. And we're going to be here with all of the great things that we talk about this day in history. That's coming up. I have all that information too. And later on in the program, I will give you my picks of the week of movies, those classic Turner Classic movies. I have picks for you. And just in case you want to catch up on some old movies, you can include that into your to-do list, on what to watch this weekend. So I have all of that coming up, and it's all coming up in this very hour. So there you go. We're so glad to have you aboard with us. We want you to know that we come from 3 different places. And let me explain something. We're here on Facebook right now. We're on YouTube. Tonight, we are not on Instagram. We had a technical thing going on. I don't know what the problem was. We're going to have to see that. We'll probably have to figure that one out, how it happened or what happened. But we're not on Instagram tonight. So those are the people who are watching right now, and people who usually watch us on Instagram, tell them to come over to YouTube or watch us on right here live on Facebook. Okay, I got to find out. I got to figure out what happened on Instagram. Don't know. We have those problems every now and then. One thing about technology, it's supposed to be where you control it and it not controls you. So whatever you do or program is supposed to act on command. And it seems like this is the other way around, but we'll figure it out somehow. We always do. And every once in a while, we have those technical problems that we like to take care of, and we engage in that, and we make sure everything is okay in that field. So there you go. You have it. So we're on Instagram, YouTube, and the whole 9 yards. Okay, it's been a big week around here, and I hope that you are getting set, because like it or not, a weekend is coming up. It just seems like the week goes by so fast. It really does. And the weekend comes up, and then we're doing this and doing that. We're trying to figure out what to do. And well, we'll see what happens. And we are into 26th day. We're the 26th day of January. So we're almost over with this month. We're going into a new month. How time it flies. This month went by really quick. It just seems like we just got into the brand new year. We're only 26 days into it. And before you know it, St. Valentine's Day is coming along. I know you're going to be waiting around for that. And even though your former friends who've known a long time suddenly comes out of the woodwork at this time of the year, you could say, well, I don't have anything, no candy this year for you, no candy, no flowers. But we'll cross that bridge when you get there on February. So there's a lot of things to talk about, and we're going to make sure that you're all invited. I like to Would you guys like some? Here. This is if you could see it, right? Those are jelly beans. I get them every now and now. If my doctor could see me now, he'll kill me, but I don't do it too often. So every once in a while, I'm entitled to have one or two. I'm gonna start with this black one, the licorice. They're very good. I think they might be my favorite flavor. That licorice taste. Love it. Give me all the black ones you can give me. They're delicious. One more, do. Anyway, if you want some, it's all here for you. Just come and get right on in. Anyway, we are here, and we've got a lot of things to talk about today. And of course, one of the things I wanted to talk about, get off my chest, is in the news. It's big headlines right now, and we just want to address it. Big headlines right now. You heard the story of Tyree Nichols, right? Tyree Nichols, well, that's the young man. He's 29 years old. Tyree Nichols was beaten by police for 3 minutes. For 3 minutes. It's all over the news now. You can't turn to any news channel without hearing about it. It's all over. It's top story. Out in Memphis, Tennessee, 5 policemen were involved. 5 people. A policeman beat him up for 3 minutes, 5 policemen, and they're all fired, by the way. And the good thing about the people in Memphis, Tennessee, they didn't take any crap with that. When that went down, they took them out, right? So those 5 policemen, and they face serious charges. Now, I understand, too, there are a few more that have to be looked into, a few more policemen. Not the 5 that they were there on location that beat them up, but they're looking. And Memphis Police Chief Caroline Davis, I believe her name is, said Wednesday that the officer's treatment to the 29-year-old Terry Nichols, he died 3 days after the beating, by the way. 3 days after the beating, he was in the hospital. I saw the image of him in the hospital bed, and he was really battered. Anyway, he died 3 days after. And so she just stated in a press conference, just Wednesday, that this was a failing of a basic humanity. These 3 policemen failed basic humanity. And Nichols, who was black, by the way, died January 10th. And all it was a pullover. It's a traffic pullover. It's hard to fathom the idea of someone getting hurt or someone getting injured just because of a traffic pullover. And they pulled him over. I don't know what the problem was. He didn't even know, because he just kept saying, "What did I do?" as he was getting beat. And they just kept going. Now, just so you know, there's a video that's going to be released of this beating. It's going to be released tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. Eastern. And so it'll be issued to the public because they want to be transparent about it. And so what they're going to do when they release it, everyone is going to get a chance to see it. You can get a chance to judge for your own. I'm kind of cringing because it just goes back to the George Floyd's, when, of course, he was murdered. Let's just tell it like it is. He was murdered. And so it's the same thing here with Tyree Nichols. He was murdered. And these 5 men, each of them maybe well over 6 feet tall, could have been not even under 200 pounds each. And this man, Tyree, was like 150 pounds. So can you imagine those 5 guys, all over 6 feet tall, all no less than 200 pounds each, all right? So we're talking about 1,200 pounds, and they really roughed them up good. Now, the only people who saw the video, it's not released to the public until tomorrow, but the only people that saw the video right now were the family members of Tyree. They saw the video, and what I understand, what they said, it was like really terrible to watch. I would imagine it is. Looking at the still photo of him sitting in the hospital, lying in the hospital bed, face is all puffed up, eyes puffed up, and bleeding. And as the family said it, they used him. He was like a human pinata. You know what a pinata is, right? When you usually kids whip on those things. A pinata is a shaped stuffed animal or something with a lot of candy and gifts and everything, and they just take it and just whip it until it breaks up and all the candy falls out. Well, that's how they describe this beating, a human pinata. And so we're going to all learn tomorrow. When this comes about, we're going to all learn tomorrow what it is. People are not saying, and people are just hiding it for the time being, because a lot of people are laying back and they're on edge and they're cringing right now. And they're calling for, if you're demonstrating, which they will be doing, a lot of people will be doing a lot of demonstrating after they see this, but they're asking, and I'm asking too, if you're going to do that, let's do it in a peaceful manner. And that's what the family wants. That's what the people of Memphis, Tennessee wants. Just do it. And they're thinking about just taking it easy, and they don't want the riots going on. So please, understand that. And this is going to change the scope of a lot of things in the police department when we see this video. And we're going to judge for ourselves which was worse, George Floyd or this one. We don't know until it's released tomorrow. Frankly, none of the videos should have been taking place. We go back in time. I thought maybe after the George Floyd thing was over, I thought maybe someone would learn about this, someone would learn something, and someone would just step back and say, maybe we shouldn't ought to do this because we lost someone that was murdered and we don't want anyone else hurt. But you're talking about a stop. They stopped him. It was a pullover. He's driving, 29 years old, pulled him over. For whatever reason, I don't know what the pullover was. Maybe he was ran a light or something. I don't know, but it was a pullover. And then, so just consequently just ending his death. And the family is bent out of shape, which of course, needless to say, that goes with the territory. They're bent out of shape, and you don't blame them. They're all angry. They're all angry. You can't blame them for that. They lost something. And it makes me it makes me think, or the question I would have, that between these 5 police officers, do they have any children? I was wondering if they had any children, when they did this, when they were doing this. Were they thinking about their children, if they have any children? And even if you didn't have any children, you ought to still know better. And you think about when George Floyd was alive, or during the time when he was down there on the ground and he got the wind crushed out of him. I wonder if that police officer, Police Derek, I wonder if he has any children. I don't know if he has any children or not. He probably does. Wife, children, loved ones, do you think about that? And a lot of people oftentimes don't. And you figure you would learn from all of this, you figure after the George Floyd thing, you would learn all of this. Now, let's not forget that we still can't, even though this happened, we still can't forget about George Floyd. You can't sweep that under the rug. He's dead and gone, but you can't sweep it under the rug. We're still thinking about Eric Gardner. You're still thinking about him too. And rest of him, he's no longer here. Rodney King, another beating. Now, a lot of people are waiting around for that video to see how it compares with that video back then when Rodney King was beat up by the policeman. And I think with Rodney King, I think it was like 2 or 3 of them. In this case, it was 5 of them. So it's a tragic thing. It's a tragic death. And so at 6 p.m., again, I repeat, 6 p.m. tomorrow evening, 6 p.m. Eastern, they're going to release that video to the public. In the beginning, they were thinking, maybe we shouldn't release this video because, we don't want to cite any riots or anything. But at the same time, I think the public has a right to know. The public has the right to know. They should be transparent about this. And so we'll have to see more about it. If you have any thoughts on this, please let me know, or get on the keyboard and type it in, and we can talk about it as well. And we could talk about other things. But right now I want to go over to Charlotte, North Carolina, and talk about something different. We're going to turn the page, and we have Brian Camp with us with the latest developments in today's world of sports.
Well, before we get to sports, the question I want to know, I was watching the news. I flipped back and forth to CNN and to the other cable news. The question is this: police officers are being indicted. More people are being investigated. Why were 2 firefighters might be investigated now? Now, firefighters are to save lives. Police officers are to protect lives, but firefighters are now here to save lives. So what were they doing? Were they supposed to, I don't know. We didn't know what the condition was of this man that was being beat up. So the question is, what were they there for? Were they on standby? Were they there to help? Were they told to stay away? Well, that's what I want to know.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes firefighters do police jobs. Sometimes they do that. They just don't put out fires. Sometimes they do police jobs. Sometimes people call them when they can't get an officer. If it's something nearby, if they're nearby, they answer calls too. But no, I didn't know anything about any firefighters.
Yeah, CNN this morning reported that there was 2 firefighters are being investigated. They were at the scene at that time, and they are not being, we don't know. We don't know why were they there. Again, firefighters, okay, I don't know if they were there to help do a police officer's job, but their main duty is to save lives in case of a fire, in case of medics, because they're all under the same umbrella. You know how EMS is under the umbrella of the fire department in New York City, and I think nationwide now. So that's the thing I'm wondering about, why that this wasn't, being thought of. So, we'll find out more details as the time comes, get closer for us to view this video. But either way, it's just a tragic death.
They have more. I also understand that they have more policemen under investigation.
Yes.
We're not talking about the 5. We already know where the 5s are. They're gone. They're not even have jobs anymore. But they have that there are more policemen inside under investigation. We got to find out what that's all about, where they were.
Chief of police, chief of police, and a lot of them.
But in Memphis, so that happened in Memphis, Tennessee. But it was, I think, with Carol, I think her name is Carolyn Davis. Carolyn Davis. She's the police chief, but she act well. She act well because as soon as this went down, those 5 policemen were gone. They were fired right away. So she acted fast, and she realizes, she even said in a statement early today or Wednesday, I would say, that she knows there's going to be a lot of animosity. There's going to be a lot of people are going to be up in arms about it. But she's
a lot of tension,
saying when this video comes out and you watch this video, she's just asking the family to as well, and the people from Memphis, Tennessee, are asking that everyone, if they're going to protest, and there will be a lot of protests, do it peacefully, to ask for peaceful demonstration. They don't want any. And I endorse that as well.
Yeah. You see, this one is a little bit different now than others. These are Black officers killing a Black man. Still tragic, no matter how you look at it, whether the white, Black, Chinese, Asians, or or Hispanics, it's definitely going to be an investigation. But good evening to you and to everybody out there. Hope all is well out here in the Queen City of Charlotte. It is 42 degrees out here. Finally, we had a sunny day today after horrific rainstorms from yesterday. And it was, it was so windy and rainy that it almost knocked over one of my smokers. Yes, I would have been out there protecting my smokers out there. Yes, because that's what I cook from. Yeah. So, but it was a sunny day today, and we're looking forward to clear skies for the rest of the night and into tomorrow. But let me get to sports. It's all about football. This is football weekend. But let me give you some things about football. The Washington Commanders, formerly known as the Redskins, opened its first sports book inside an NFL stadium at FedEx Field Stadium. Last Friday, partnered with Fanatics. That's a group, and the Arizona Cardinals opened up theirs last September. That sits outside the stadium. But here for the Commanders, theirs sits inside the stadium. But in Washington, no bets can be placed when the Commanders are playing at home. So you can't place a bet while the home team is playing home. Now, the franchise receive approval placed when the Commanders are playing at home. They get approval from the Maryland State Lottery and Gaming Control Commissions for sports wagering license on August 17th. They have a 5-year license. So let's see what's going to happen when this 5-year thing is going to be up. If it goes well, then they might get extended. So we'll see what happens. More good news for Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin has started making great strides in his recovery from cardiac arrest that happened a couple of weeks back. Hamlin's longtime friend and business partner Jordan Rooney says, even being out of the hospital, that his dear friend Damar Hamlin still has a lengthy recovery. Hamlin still requires oxygen and is having his heart monitored regularly. Hamlin was at last week's game between the Bills and the Bengals. When visit the team a few times, but he still gets winded very easily. So he's still up, still trying to recuperate. He's up and about. So we just continue to keep our prayers for him. Well, check this out. For the first time since the Super Bowl began in 1967, Detroit news reporter Jerry Green will not cover the Super Bowl. How do you like that? He has covered every Super Bowl. Every Super Bowl. He's the only reporter to attend every Super Bowl, and his streak will end at 56. 56 Super Bowls. We're going on 57. So he has been to all 56 Super Bowls. Now, he is 94 years old. Told the news his declining health led to his decision to end the streak. He is in a wheelchair and with oxygen. So let's honor this man right here. He's a reporter, 94 years old, attended and covered every Super Bowl. Super Bowl, like I said, started in 1967. So here we are, the Final Four. NFC game, first game, Sunday. San Francisco 49ers will be playing at the Philadelphia Eagles. That'll be on Fox at 3 p.m. The second game, the AFC Championship game, the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Kansas City Chiefs. That game will be on CBS at 6:30 kickoff time. So you have it there. Everything is set, the Final Four on Sunday, this coming Sunday. So let's be ready. Get those hot wings ready. Get whatever that you need. Get your dip and chips ready. We're going to have some football. And the winner of these two games will meet in the Super Bowl, Super Bowl 57. This day in sports, January 26, 1913, Jim Thorpe relinquished his 1912 Olympic medals for two seasons of semi-pro baseball. Many of you don't know Jim Thorpe, he won the Olympics in 1912, where he won all those medals. He was the decathlon, and there's another one that slips my mind. but he played in baseball, football, you name it. He played in 4 or 5 different sports, and he is known is maybe recognized as the greatest athlete of all time. 1951, Mel Ott and Jimmy Fox elected to Baseball Hall of Fame. 1956, Hank Greenberg and Joe Cronin are elected into Baseball Hall of Fame. 1960, a high school basketball sensation, Danny Heater, scores 135 points. Can I repeat that? Danny Heater, a high school basketball player, scored 135 points. Let me turn around to Michael Jordan. Did you ever score that many points in a game?
Will Chamberlain never even scored that many points in a game.
Right, but Wilt Chamberlain came close. Wilt Chamberlain in 1962 scored 100 points.
Yeah.
But 135 points. Oh my goodness. 1963, Major League Baseball Rules Committee votes to expand the strike zone. 1990, the Boston Red Sox hire Elaine Wennington as assistant GM, who is the highest ranking African-American female in a major league front office. In the year 2020, this is the day that we all should remember. LA Lakers legend Kobe Bryant dies in a helicopter crash, along with his daughter and I believe the 6 other people that was there that was on board. They died in a helicopter crash in foggy conditions, and that was the day. I don't like to report deaths and everything, but you know, this was the day, and we should always remember that as well. Birthdays: 1952, actor and auto racer and team owner Paul Newman. Yes, born in Cleveland, Ohio. Paul Newman was not only a great actor, but he was also into auto racing too as well. In fact, one of his movies he played in as a racer too. 1935, Bob Uecker, Major League Baseball catcher, actor, and broadcaster, was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 1961, Wayne Gretzky, Canadian NHL Hall of Famer, born in Bradford, Ontario. 1977, Vince Carter, NBA future Hall of Famer, was born in Daytona Beach, Florida. And ladies and gentlemen, that is sports on a busy Thursday.
I think one of the great movies, I know he was a race car driver, Paul Newman. But one of the great movies I liked him in had nothing to do with racing, had something to do with entertainment. That was Paris Blues from 1961.
Yeah.
And I love that movie. Sidney Poitier was in it with Diane Carroll, and Paul Newman was his wife, Joanne Woodward, and Satchmo Louis Armstrong and his band. And that was a great movie. Bob Uecker, you know, he's still working, right?
He's still working and still calling games for the Milwaukee Brewers.
He used to be the butt of jokes as far as baseball is concerned, because he wasn't really any kind of big deal on the field.
Yeah, you know, I think he held a record. I'm not sure. I got to do the research. He holds the record of being on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson for the most appearance by a celebrity.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least he has something to do after his baseball days was over.
He had a very short baseball career. He wasn't a great baseball player.
Not at all. And people used to mock him for that.
Yeah.
But he came back and he did a few sitcoms.
Yes, he did. Yeah. Yes, that's right.
He's still working. How old is he now? He's 80 some odd years old, right?
I think he's 88, 89 last time I checked.
Yeah.
He's close to 90, I can tell you that much. Yeah.
Wow. Well, yeah, hey, listen, people want to work beyond their retirement years. I say go for it.
Yeah.
Because you don't really want to sit down all together. Even if you're retired, you want to do something, you know.
Exactly. Exactly.
This is it. So anyway, what's on tap for tomorrow? You'll be here?
Tomorrow, I'll be here live. Here live, yes.
Okay.
In the studio, live.
Okay. So sounds good to me. So I guess we'll catch you then.
Yes, sir.
All right. You have yourself a great night. And
take care.
See you in the morning. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Brian Camp, ladies and gentlemen, with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. And of course, as you already know, he's here each week at this time. He comes along and bring you that. He'll be here tomorrow too, as you already said. What's tomorrow? You said tomorrow? That's what you said, Frank? Is that what you said, tomorrow? I said tomorrow. You know, tomorrow we do the coffee hour. And the coffee hour is on in the morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. And of course, they do what we call the 2020 feature. Brian comes on 20 past the hour. DJ Pete will be in 20 to the hour. Brian doing sports, DJ Pete doing entertainment news and reciting all of those birthdays of people of notoriety. That's all happening tomorrow morning on the coffee hour. I hope you will be here. In the meantime, we're going to continue staying here. And remember that all of the views and the opinions expressed on this show, Talk Back Live, does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinions the people of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any other outlets, Facebook outlets or other social media outlets and broadcast outlets. We're so glad to have you more. And just in case you're just joining us, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. We're going to be here until the top of the hour. We have a little time left. For those of you who are on board right now, if you're on Facebook, watching us on Facebook, take the time to tag all of your friends. Tag them all right now and let them know that we're here. And whatever time is left, they'll come in and they'll hang out with us as well. And they can be part of this action. They can indulge in conversation and anything they want to talk about. It's about free exchange and ideas. And that's what we do. So again, thank you for being along with us. Okay, now, oh yeah, this is the one I want to relate to you. A lot of you people, you know how it is sometimes. I ask you if you want to be part of the show, you can be part of the show. Now, a lot of people just like to sit back and just watch the show. They just want to sit back and watch the show. They don't want to indulge in conversation. However, I'll give you something else to do. You can get in touch with me as well. You can get in touch with me personally. Now, to do that, all you have to do is you can email me. You can, email me or call me and let me know what you want to talk about, because we have that information for you. And I'm going to give it to you right now. Let's see. Yeah. So if you want to email me, or if you have something to say, you want to critique the show, or you want to know what the show is all about, or you have suggestions and ideas, you can get in touch with me and let us know. All right. And that address, I'll give you an email address first. Email address is frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. The telephone number is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. That's 641-715-3900, extension 467134. Now, again, you could use it for whatever you want. You can call, write, and even if you just want to say hello. Is that all you want to do? Say hello? You can say hello or whatever you want to do. I just want you to know that you have that information to get in touch with me personally. And of course, if you need anyone to get back to you, we can do that as well. So let me give you those sources again. We'll start with the email. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. Remember, Allan is spelled A-L-L-A-N. A-L-L-A-N. You'll never get through if you use E. And prod is P-R-O-D. That's short for production. frankallenprod@aol.com. That's frankallenprod@aol.com. Or call me at 641-715-3900, extension 467134. Again, that number is 641-715-3900, extension 467134. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, on this day in history in 1934, the Apollo Theater reopens in Harlem, New York. On this day in history in 1949, WHIO TV, Channel 7 in Dayton, Ohio, a CBS station, starts its broadcasting. On this day in history in 1958, H. Lascaux replaces Moshe Dayan as Israeli Minister of Defense. On this day in history in 1958, Jack Smith takes over from Art Baker as TV host of You Asked For It. Sure, it goes back a long time ago. On this day in history, 1961, Are You Lonesome Tonight by Elvis Presley made hit number 1. On that same year, the first woman personal physician to the US President, Janet G. Travel, she was under John F. Kennedy. On this day in history, 1962, Bishop Burke of Buffalo Catholic Diocese declares that Chubby Checker's twist to be impure and bans it from all Catholic schools. I bet they're doing a twist now. On this day in history, 1970, Bridge Over Troubled Water, the 5th and final studio album by Simon and Garfunkel, was released, and it made the Grammy Award Album of the Year in 1971. Back in 1974, the 31st Golden Globes go to The Exorcist, Al Pacino, and Marsha Mason. Back in 1979, The Dukes of Hazzard premieres on CBS. Back in 1980, 175,000 people paid to hear Frank Sinatra sing at Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. Back in 1987, the 14th American Music Award goes to Whitney Houston, Lionel Richie, and Alabama. In 1989, Madison Square Garden announces a 2-year, $1 million renovation plan. Back in 1998, the 25th American Music Awards go to the Spice Girls and Babyface. In 2005, Condoleezza Rice was sworn in as U.S. Secretary of State, and she was the first African-American woman to hold the post. In 2006, Western Union discontinues its telegram service. In 2022, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer announces his retirement. In 1944, Angela Davis, an African-American activist, author, and professor, was born on this day. In 1944, in Birmingham, Alabama, she's 79 years old today. In 1965, Republican House Representative Kevin McCarthy, not so new, right? He was born on this day in Bakersfield, California. He's 58 today. In 2014, the Bachelor actor Sean Lowe weds graphic designer Catherine Giudicki, and they got married. They got married in Santa Barbara, California. Nelson Rockefeller died on this day in 1979 at the age of 70 years old from a heart attack. He was born July 8th, 1908 in Harbor, Maine. That's Bar Harbor, Maine. And finally, 1997, astrologer Jean Dixon dies on this day, 1997. She was born in 1904, and that's this day in history. And those of you who may know something on this day in history, and of course you want to give us that information, we'll have to do it. We'll put it right there for you, right out there, and we'll let everyone know. And that's how we do it. This is how we do it. But those of you who are just joining us, again, the name of the show is called Talk Back Live. We're going to be around with you for a while. I hope that you stay around with us. There's so many things to do. We have jelly beans in case anyone, I'll just tilt it over so you can actually see it without spilling it. We have jelly beans, everyone, just in case. And they're all free. And I think I'll have one. That's delicious. I don't do it too often, so I'm allowed. You know, although I watch my sugar intake, which we all should do, all of us should do it. Every once in a while, it's okay. As long as the doctor doesn't tell you, you can't have it at all, ever, no more, out of the question. Now, you don't want the doctor to tell you, no, well, I don't want you to have ice cream anymore. Everyone loves ice cream, right? God help the doctor who tells me that. You don't want that, right? And you want to do the other things that you want to do. You want to fall off the wagon every once in a while. And there are some people who are just like 100% healthy. They just don't want to get involved in things like red meat. Some people are vegans. Some people are vegetarians. no red meat at all, no chicken, just eat fish. I tried vegetarian one time. I tried it. It didn't work with me. I got to have that protein. Every once in a while, I want me one of those thick London broiled steaks, with mushrooms and a lot of gravy on it. I'm getting hungry already just thinking about it. Okay, well, as you know, we always have something going down in the news. Now, you heard the latest, right? Now, this is what gets me. Here's the latest thing. Ron DeSantis, who, by the way, wants to run for president of the United States. Right now he's presently governor of Florida. And did you hear about it? What he wants to do is he wants to ban some literature. He wants to ban some books. In the state of Florida, there's certain things that he just don't want out there. So he's just telling the people in the libraries, if you have those kind of books on the shelves that you are not allowed to let out or let these people read, you either take them down, put them in a database, or you cover them up. Can you imagine going into a library and you have this white sheet over some books that you see? Wow, that's something. But I wonder what's back there. I like to see those books. It makes you more curious if you cover them up. It makes people more curious. All right. Anyway, my point is that banning these books, because the next thing you know, he's going to be banning history. For instance, African American history, which I think one of the things that he wants to do, but he's got it like his language, his language tells you that's what he wants to do, right? I don't know. It takes you back to the 1950s. Now, a lot of people are younger, say, oh, yeah, I feel like I'm in the 1950s. You don't really know what the 1950s are all about. You weren't there. For those of you who really don't know, you weren't there. But those of you who have been in the 1950s, knew of the 1950s, understand what went on between 1950 and now. It's a whole big change. And it seems like they want to take us back to those golden years, those golden days of yesteryear. Those golden days of yesteryear. Now, I admit I enjoyed living in the 1950s. I had a good time. But I've been there. We've all been there. We've all done that. And we don't want to go back there. And only thing that you have left are the memories. Keep those memories if you want. There are some good memories, some bad memories. You keep the memories. But one of the things that you don't want is the lack of freedom that you had back in the 50s, and now that you have, and they want to take it away from you again. Who are you to tell another person what they can't read? You're going to go into the schools, and remember when they said, well, no Bibles in the schools. We don't want any Bibles in the schools. No reading the Bible. Is that another thing you're taking out of the equation, the Bible? You already did that. So you want to take away history. Now, I think it's important that these books are not being banned. Well, let's say, for instance, if it's something, if it's like adult books, porn, I don't know, they shouldn't even have that in the library, period. I don't think they do. But just say, for instance, there are some certain things that children shouldn't really have to read. They're not old enough to read, and they put them in a different place for adults only. But in the meantime, these kids today, look at these kids today. These kids today, these younger kids are eager. They're eager. They want to learn. They want to learn about something. And so when you take away all of this literature that's very important, like let's say history, if you're eager to keep history such as the Confederate, you want to teach that, but you don't want to teach, Black History Month, which, by the way, is coming up next week. Black History Month is coming up next week. And I'm not going to put anything out there, give anybody ideas anyway, but, you want to take that down too, But I think it's very important that literature is kept in the library. Just because you don't like it, that doesn't mean there's no room for people who want to learn these things. And there's a lot to learn. A lot of people want to learn and they want to teach them in their classes, and you're telling them not to teach it in the classes. This is not good. This is not good. You're going to cause a lot of problems doing it, but we're going to see what happens. I don't think he's going to win this fight. I don't think he's going to win this fight. And even if he does, there's going to be somebody coming along that's going to fall into the governorship of Florida, and they're going to say, okay, we had some cornball that took out all of the literature. So what we're going to do, we're going to undo everything. We're going to put all of that literature back. So you are free to read everything you want to read. You know, it's no wonder that some people say they don't want to go to public schools. They don't want their children going to public schools. And while they're saying they don't want their children going to public schools, in the meantime, they can't afford private schools. So what they do, they keep their children home and school them from home by virtual means, which they couldn't do a long time ago. Excuse me, and technology allows us now to do that. You know, technology now tells us we could sit in our own home and visit with our doctor there. You know, technology tells us we don't have to go to the library, which I stated last week. I still go to the library, but the technology says you don't have to go to the library anymore because everything that's in the library is in the computer. All you have to do is just Google it and find out just like that. You know, just like that. I'm old fashioned. I'm old school. The library has its place, and even though a lot of people know that they can get things on computers and things like that, they could also go to the library. Now they can also, if they have references, you could also go to reference, and you go to a library, there's the reference file, you go to that. You could also Google reference, and there's a particular book that you're interested in and you want reference, you know, you can do that too. But there's nothing like the old-fashioned way of actually going to a library, having your own library card, getting out of the house where you are, because technology, while it's good, it also makes you lazy a little bit. A lot of people say, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to do anything. I can do, you know, you don't have to cook anymore. Isn't that something? You don't have to cook anymore. People cook for you. All you have to do is get on the computer and order it. You know, I'm old fashioned because I like to know that everything that I'm cooking or I'm eating is coming from me. And I know, and I already know what ingredients are in there, you know, because everyone can't go out to a diner and eat the food there, or maybe have it specially made for them, you know, like if you're like me, you're not gonna, you want a low salt diet, you know, you don't want salt, you don't want sugar. So you fix your meals the way you like it, to your liking. Some people like to load up on sugar and load up on salt and things like that. They do it. Anyway, I just ran off the subject about the library. So I say to Ron DeSantis, you know, first of all, I'm going to say to you, you're not getting my vote. I can tell you that right now. But I say to you, you know, lay off of it. Let it go. Let it go. Don't ban any books. Don't hinder people who want to read these materials, who want education on everything. Don't do it. Because believe it or not, people are going to learn about it anyway. People are going to find ways. People find ways to read things. They just want to take them out of the schools. All right. So I say, forget about it. We can talk more about that, and I can talk till I'm blue in the face, but it's not going to do any good. Classified documents. Oh, man. Do we have to talk about that? Classified documents. Now, we already know that, of course, 345/66 Beast Incarnate, he's notorious for hiding those things and still didn't want to give them up. He was subpoenaed. He ignored subpoenas. They, as he would put it, raided his house, but it wasn't raided. They had a warrant to go in and search. Okay, then you had Joe Biden, who they found boxes in his garage next to his Corvette. All right, they found documents there. So he cooperated with everyone as they go through these documents and find out, you know, why they were taken out. So he's cooperated. He turned over everything. And then you had the former vice president, who had they found documents, you know, in his boxes, right? Mike Pence. So they found documents. He cooperated. So there's a big difference between Joe Biden, Mike Pence, and 345/666 Beast Incarnate. Now, it's a whole different case. Now, it's a whole different case with the Joe Biden and the Mike Pence situation, because they're already cooperating. It's 345/666 Beast Incarnate. When they found out documents were taken out, you know, he refused to hand them over. So they had no choice but to offer him a warrant and search his home. Not they didn't invade it, and they did not raid it. They did it legally. They handed him, or handed his people, his lawyers or whatever, the document to search. And they did, and they found them. And now they have them. And they may be more. They may be more. So we'll see what happens with that. He thinks he's out of the woods just because Mike Pence and Joe Biden, they're different cases. They're different cases. I'm pretty sure that Mike Pence and Joe Biden, they can explain, or I'm pretty sure there's nothing hairy there with those guys because they were willing to do it. Now, my question is, these documents are supposed to stay put in one place. You know, how do you manage to take out documents? You know, I never could understand that, because in the White House, they have a place where documents are put. And documents, basically, those documents are used as reference. It's just like going to a library. You know, you go to the reference file. You could take out any book in a library, but you can't take out the reference book. The reference book stay. In order for you to look at that book, you have to stay in the library, sit down and look for whatever you're looking for. Then you have to return it. There's no taking a reference book out. And it's the same thing with documents, with the government documents. They stay where they are. Now, how do they manage to get out? I don't know. Some people had theories about with Mike Pence. You know, he was packing so quick, because remember the insurrection, January 6th, big day, right? The day that will live in infamy, right? January 6th, that's the day when they said hang Mike Pence. Of course, you know, he's on the edge, so he's gonna get in there quick, grab all his stuff, and maybe accidentally put the documents in there. That could happen. That could happen. You never know. You never know. But we'll see what happens. You know, it's always one story after the other. And when you turn on the news tomorrow morning, there's something else going on. So there's a lot to digest. This is a world where it's news all over the place and everything is top story. You know, this is not top story, but 345/66 Beast Incarnate. Guess where he's back on Facebook? You know, the people on Facebook. He had what he did, he wrote a letter to the people of Facebook, right? And ask him to get back on. And so he's back on. He's back on Facebook. He's back on Instagram, you know. And so which he was kicked off, the reason why he was kicked off because of racist remarks and conspiracy theories and things like that. And so he was kicked off. He was also kicked off, not Instagram. Yeah, he was kicked off Instagram, but now he's back. He's also kicked off of all the other. I'm pretty sure he was on a lot of different outlets that he was kicked off. But he was also kicked off Twitter too. But now he's back on Twitter. I don't know if he uses Twitter anymore, because he has his own platform and he posts every day, you know. All right, but he's back on. And if the rest of the world did what he did, if I did and said what he did, right here on Instagram, right here on Facebook, right here on YouTube, you're out the door. You're out the door. But he's 345/666. He does what he wants. Okay. Well, anyway, those are the things in the news. And I don't know. It's all petty. It's all petty. Page one. That's page one. We'll flip the page tomorrow. We'll talk about other things. But right now, what I want to talk about are the movies that I have for you each week. Now, each week, I dip into the pile of those old movies, those Turner Classic movies, and I take my picks of the week. I take all my picks of the week, and I bring them to you. Because over the weekend, you may have something that you want to do if you're doing something, but you want to include watching some of your old movies or catch up on some of the old movies. I have some that you may be interested in, and I'd like to share them with you right now. Let's go back right now. Here's something that goes back to 1950. 1950. This is called Young Man with a Horn. This is a great movie. I love the movie, starring Kirk Douglas, Lauren Bacall, and Doris Day. And I love this movie. It's on Turner Classic Movies. Watch it for yourself. You can catch it this Saturday. It's Saturday morning, though. You want to wake up Saturday morning real early? It's 6 a.m. Eastern. You want to do that? Okay, let's say you don't want to do it. All right, it's going to come on that time. I just told you, Saturday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern. You can DVR it and watch it later on. That's A Young Man with a Horn, a great movie. I think you'll like it. So one of the classic black and whites from 1950. Flower Drum Song, Ring-a-Ding-Ding, 1961, starring Nancy Kwan. It's a nice musical, and you can catch that Saturday too. You could watch it in real time as well because it comes on a reasonable hour. It comes on Turner Classic Movies Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's this Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. That's Flower Drum Song. If you like musicals, musicals are nice. I like them. And here's something nice too. Another one that goes back to 1945, another classic with Joan Crawford called Mildred Pierce. Another nice movie, another black and white classic. It's also on Turner Classic Movie. However, you can catch that on Sunday at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. And so you get a chance to watch that and all of these other movies that are great. Now, these are my picks, and these are my picks for the week. Now, that doesn't mean when you go to Turner Classic Movies, you won't find others, that you may be interested in. Go there and go down there and check them out. Turner Classic Movies, check the program guide, just go right through it, and you might see something that you like, and you could add that to your bucket list as well. You could also watch them at another time, providing you DVR them, right? And then you can watch it at your own convenience. And also, you can go on Movie on Demand and watch some of those free movies. They're out there. You can check them out. There are a lot of them from A to Z, and movies that they're changeable. They come and go, and you can check them out. Movies that you haven't seen in a long time, movies that you could see like 100 times and 100 times more. Some of them are out there. You can watch those too. They're out there. That's Movie on Demand. And sometimes you might want to watch some of those paid movies, pay-per-view, the latest movies that are out there, which is going to cost you a little more. And then you have the movies that have been in the movies or past, but they're not exactly old, and they're right there. So you have your choice. Documentaries, you got all documentaries, and you got all of the sporting events you could watch. If you don't watch them in real time, the following day, they can be right there. Sometimes, in some cases, commercial free. So check it out. So let me go over these movies once again. Young Man with a Horn from 1950, Kirk Douglas, Lauren Bacall, and Doris Day. That's Saturday at 6 a.m. Eastern. Flower Drum Song with Nancy Kwan. That's Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And Mildred Pierce with Joan Crawford. That's Sunday at 9:45 p.m. Eastern. I hope you enjoy these movies. I think you'll like them, and give them a shot. They're good for you. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for today. I enjoyed it very much. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I will be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern for the coffee hour. Brian Camp will be with me with the latest developments in today's world of sports. His part of the 2020 feature, and that's 20 past the hour, 22 the hour. DJ Pete will be here with musical entertainment, of course, entertainment. And that's entertainment news and reciting all of those birthdays of people of notoriety. That's all tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Other than that, I'll be back here come next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern for more Talk Back Live. In the meantime, have yourself a good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. See you soon.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allen. The producer is Al Dale. Technical assistant Dave Taylor. Research by Sandy Pierce. And I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.